have no mercy for those that come to disrupt the restoration of this struggle. We don't negotiate with anyone. We will never do that. Because when you do things like that, you encourage the same thing to be inside the government, and they will continue to do what they are doing. There's an added access.
Welcome, fellow Biafrans, lovers of freedom across the world. I welcome you once again to this amazing platform where we bring you information that has to do with the United States of Biafra. Information coming from the right source. In this platform, we promote and support the restoration fully and recognition of the United States of Biafra under our Prime Minister, Mazi Simon Ekpa, and of the Supreme Commander of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Today, under the leadership of Dr. Ngozi Orabweze, the Deputy Prime Minister. Wherever you are and you're watching this program, I welcome you. Please like and share to all platforms. In this program, we will be continue to show you information that are coming from all angles, more especially things that has to do with the Biafran territory, regardless where it is, whether in the east, in the west, in the north, in the south. We bring it before you so that you can digest it and have a rethink and know where you stand. The only thing that can guarantee our freedom in that contraption called Nigeria is Biafra. It is either Biafra or nothing. And wherever you are, continue to support the United States of Biafra. That is the only way to go. That is the only way you can have good economy and have security. Regardless what you see today, do not get distracted. Do not get bemoved. Continue to stand your ground, to demand for self-determination because it is your right. Do not allow anyone to take away the right to self-determination, the right to self-defense, and the right to life from you. Kindly watch this video for more wisdom. Let's watch.
Like the saying goes, if you can't beat them, you join them. You key in into what Dangote is doing. Okay. And good enough, more modular refineries are coming up. If you look at Akwa Ibom, Bua is almost rounding up his modular refinery there. And I learned recently, there's one also coming up in Imo State.
Okay.
So if we have enough, it's a plus for the nation. Because when you produce enough, you have surplus to export. As we speak, Dangote exports and is earning foreign exchange for the country. I think he exports to UAE, to Saudi, to UAE and some other Middle East countries, especially Jet A oil, the one that the aircraft are using. It's a plus. So it's not something people should have reason to begin to fight themselves and come in with this pull him down syndrome.
Okay.
It is not healthy. It's not the best for all of us.
Mr. Lawal Kundar, please come close to the microphone. Thank you so much for your patience. Mr. Lawal, when that particular state of emergency was declared in Rivers State, article said that that state of emergency reeks of political manipulation and outright bad faith. That was what he said that night. Now, he blamed the president for the crisis in Rivers. He accused him of being a partisan actor in the political turmoil engulfing Rivers. And that was what he did. He went to his X page platform immediately to type shortly after the president's broadcast. He said he feels greatly disturbed by the political crisis in Rivers, that the state has been at a standstill and the people have been deprived of good governance. 14 months after Fubara demolished the House of Assembly, it remains unbuilt. Many Nigerians have intervened just as he did, but their efforts have been to no avail. No responsible president will stand by without taking action to restore good normalcy and governance and peace. Now, in that particular this was the president's reaction to what Atiku Abubakar said about reeking of political manipulation. Now, in reaction as well to that, Omoyele Sowore went and called this administration all sorts of derogatory names. In fact, he called it, this is worse than a dictatorship. He called it godfatherism at play. His response is actually there. He has been on several media forums. He even went to the extent of saying that the Senate president ought to be in prison. He asserted that Godswill Akpabio should be in prison and not the Red Chamber, This was when he was weighing in on the sexual allegation leveled against Akpabio by the suspended senator. So the reason why I'm going back is these individuals were quick in reacting to that declaration. And Peter Obi now spoke, and you're picking him out. So Showore is saying that Peter Obi is a wimp. That's why it's easy for them to pick on him, because every other person had spoken. And then he speaks, and you decided to come out and pick on him. Why is that so?
Thank you. I believe the reason is because they see him as a formidable opposition.
They don't see Atiku as a formidable opposition. They don't see Showore as a formidable opposition.
See, the level at which Obi is, popular, is something that is, worrisome to the ruling party. That is why they look at him, even if he stand up, they are going to criticize it in order to find a means to try to, damage his image. That is what exactly is going on. That's what exactly is going on. So they see him as a man to beat. And they have the attention on him. You get it? And they find every little thing to try to bring him down, because they see him as everything he says, generates, popularity for him. So that is the way they see it. So they tried everything, even if he didn't speak, they will still speak about him.
But why would they see him as a formidable source? The APC won the 2023 elections, and now as it stands, they seem to have an upper hand with the legislature, INEC as an institution, and the National Assembly, as well as the judiciary. So what is the fear?
In 2023, people believed the battle, the last election, and they saw it overshadow them. They had to, do some, just opposing, to get to power. Let me use the word just opposing. To get to power. So when you just oppose to get to power, you know that you took a giant, you took more than the necessary steps that you are supposed to take. You'll be looking back, because you know that step may not always be available. So you always look at somebody who's that fast. You get, it's like you are playing football, and then while you are playing football, you see that the referee assisted you to win. You understand? When the referee assisted you to win, you will always be afraid of the true team, because you know that you may not always have the opportunity of the referee every time. That is the way they see him. That's why each time he speaks, they want to come out and try to, damage his reputation, whatever, say this and that. Everybody have been saying this now. We've been saying this all over since now. Other people have been saying, we are not even a big elephant in the political scene. Kwankwaso have been speaking. So many. Even this what's the name of this young NYC student that came up and speak?
Right.
Too. So people have been speaking. It's not the first person to speak. It's not the middle person to speak. It's not the last person to speak. But they see him as that, that politician, that leader, that man to beat. So, and that fear, you get it, is always there. And that caution is always on them. You get, and that's why you see this man coming out to just speak sometimes. And then you wonder what are you talking? You get it? It's obvious.
All right.
So
okay.
I see the fear. You see, I see the fear. And I keep saying it. I keep telling Nigerians that, see, don't underestimate Nigerians. Don't underestimate Nigerians. This thing will always come up. You remember, Babangida said, I'll step aside. He never expected it. You remember? When MKO Abiola, contested, nobody thought the whole country would just galvanize together and vote without any divide. When Abacha was in power, they thought it was going to be like that forever. Is that not it? And there were protests then. So, and the same election came up 2019. 2023, people never expected. And I keep saying that Nigerians are getting wiser.
Okay.
Don't always think this is in Nigeria for 1 year or this. Nigerians are getting wiser. Okay, let me move to a bigger level. Look at Fubara. Look at Natasha. You know they are playing outside the box, and it's seriously affecting the ruling party. And it was obvious what they did to Fubara, and everybody is speaking all over the world. They saw the unfairness. Look at Natasha, that female that is just inexperienced in the house and shaking the whole house. Some have been there for how many years? 12 years. And she's shaking the whole house, and the whole house, is kind of, why I said they are shaking, they are afraid, because they keep doing things outside the normal, they are outside their law. The same law you are accused her of, you yourself, you are openly disobeying that same law, and you are punishing somebody for it, to let you know that she's seriously shaking them. The Senate president had to appeal to every member of the senator for assistance in order to be able to fight this inexperienced young politician that's been there for the first time. You get it? This female that they can always shut down every time. You get it? Female really speak in the Senate, and she's shaking the whole thing. So what I'm saying that this is a new Nigeria. Some people are getting bolder. Some people are getting
brazen.
Yes, faces the status quo, and it's continuing to happen. That's why I said that 2027. Don't decide the winner now.
All right. CP Chooks, let me come back to you. Senator Onyekachi Weboy is a senator from Ebonyi State, and he was in a verbal clash with Obi Ezekwesili. There was a committee meeting today on the situation with Natasha, the sexual allegation, petition and complaint from Senator Natasha Akpoti. Now, during the altercation, I played the audio here. Senator Nwabonyi told Dr. Ezekwesili that she's an insult to womanhood. I don't know if you saw that video. He was vituperating. They were trying to calm him down. He was swinging his hand. He didn't care whether it was a female behind or it was a man. There was somebody in between him and Dr. Obi Ezekwesili. If that person wasn't there, maybe his finger would have entered her eye. The question now is, does this validate all of what Natasha has been saying about the Senate? Because the behavior of that senator contravenes the remarks he has been making that Natasha ought to be disciplined for not obeying rules. And in a public forum like that, you disrespected that woman. They all kept calm. They watched him while he was vituperating. As for now, maybe by tomorrow we'll get to hear precisely what transpired that elicited Senator Nwabonyi's reaction. But regardless, in such a committee, wouldn't you have expected that senator, with how he has berated Natasha, would have comported himself? What does that tell you about the state, about the scenario of the National Assembly, specifically towards the female gender, for Senator Nwabonyi to actually display the way he displayed towards Obi Ezekwesili?
First and foremost, the question is, who is Senator Nwabonyi, or whatever he calls himself?
He's an APC senator representing Ebonyi State.
I know. What is his background? Check him out. Go and profile him. You see that first and foremost, he suffers from inferiority complex. Secondly, he is exposing his inadequacies.
Okay.
If you profile him further, you will find out that he has absolutely nothing to offer. What is his background like? So such people shouldn't in any way be made reference points. If you go further, you come to find out that he has no other address. He's only either touting or toggery, and ended up bootlicking, and one way or the other found himself in the National Assembly. And the same applies to most of them in that National Assembly. It's only a few that have that decency and decorum. But that's not a criteria for them to make the red chambers. So I am not surprised by that dishonorable misconduct by that senator from Ebonyi State. Having said that, Obia Zekwesili is a lady who had made her mark. She was a minister under Chief Olusegun Obasanjo. And apart from being a minister, she's of the old school. She was just a year our junior in the University of Nigeria in Soka. She left the university in 85.
She was a year your junior or ahead of you?
A year my junior.
Okay.
She was a year my junior.
Wow.
She left 85. Myself, Soluda, and P2B left 84.
Wow,
We were in the
amazing.
same faculty of social sciences. We entered 80, left 1984. So you now see that our generation are much more matured, to an extent responsible and decent,
Cultured.
cultured when matters like this
Come up.
And that is why you have seen the restraint in person of P2B. He will never join issues. That's why they call him a wimp or whatever name. That is why a useless man like Reno Mokri, who has been looking for a job from the federal government.
You can't call him useless here. We try not to use derogatory terms on anybody.
Okay, that's all right. That's why somebody like that, everything he picks on Obi is none of my business, because that is politics. But where I get angry at him is when he drags a tribe that have suffered immensely, both in politics, in business, and so on and so forth. Every small thing he will say, Ibo did this, Ibo did that. That's why I've been waiting for the day I will see him face to face. And I've been wishing for an opportunity like this, where two of us will sit in the studio. Then I'll now tell him his genesis. I'll dress him down and bring him to his level. Because you can't, because you're looking for a job from the federal government, you keep inciting, intertribal conflicts. You don't do things like that. And these are people, you know what they went through between 1966 to 1970. And they're still trying to pick up.
It's terrible.
From bits and pieces. Okay, they come for elections. You say, no, they went for civil war. They will not get it. They say, okay, no problem. Leave us with the area we are very used to. That buying and selling, trading, business and all. You still say they will not do that. So what do you want them to do? Every small thing, you say, Igbos are trying to do this. Where did you see them have meeting and take decisions that they are going to be anti-federal government or anti-subnational levels? You have not seen a thing like that. You just sit down because you want to be hard, because you want them to give you a position. You now start coming up with fake news. And it's very, very unfortunate. I'm sure the day the government will be courageous enough to set up a Truth Reconciliation Commission like they did in South Africa.
Okay.
During Mandela's time with Desmond Tutu. A lot will come out. People like me, I'm waiting. I'll be preparing my memo for such a time. Because by the time we finish telling ourselves the truth, a lot of people will be buried politically. And they will end up not smelling any public office for the rest of their lives. And they must have shown that they are not only a disgrace to themselves, but to their families and generations to come from their areas.
Okay.
These are things of very, very serious concern that we should not be treating with levity.
At all.
That's my position.
All right. The Obedient Movement, however, has reacted. They're a political group. They supported the presidential candidate of the Labour Party in the last general elections, and they've warned presidential spokesperson Mr. Bayo Onanuga against threatening their principle. This was through a press statement by Director of Strategic Communications and Media, Obedient Movement, Nana Kazauri. She cautioned Onanuga against Muslim free speech. That's what she went ahead to say, and that they submit that if the president's administration had invested a quarter of the energy and resources it expends in hounding and demonizing varying opinions through its intemperate spokespersons and numerous cyber Rottweilers, Nigeria would be a far more decent and conducive place to live in. Unfortunately, we are stuck with a government high on talk but miserably low on action or any iota of progress. The group said a threat to Peter Obi should not be discountenanced, as Onaniga has previously been noted for inviting people against Peter Obi. And if you go on social media, obviously this will pick up, and the supporters of this administration will use tribe and whatever to mudsling and or whatnot. But CP Chooks, the next, because I know this is your purview, this is your domain. What's going on with the consistent insecurity? Persons can no longer go to their farms. You see Fulani terrorists, they're there attacking them, preventing them from going to their farms. And then you now hear as well, the Nigerian army members on the field are not safe. Just today, 3 Nigerian soldiers were killed after launching an assault on them. So you would have expected that while the president was very quick in calling the national security advisor, the chief of naval staff, the chief of air staff, and the Senate president at the time, when they had that security meeting before the state of emergency announcement, that you'd have thought the same thing would have happened now for the state of insecurity in the country. Farmers can no longer go to their farms. Some persons can no longer do what they're supposed to do, considering that for some communities, their farmlands is their economic power that they can feed and make money from. How do you describe this? Is our military, have they been, do they have an intelligence porosity? Are there deliberate moves within this institution that weakens the strategy to eliminate terrorists? How do you describe this?
Well, thank you for that question. The situation as it is and as we speak is of very serious concern. And a lot of communities have either abandoned their communities, especially places like Benue State.
Yes.
Some places in Borno and so on and so forth.
Jos.
Plateau and so on.
Niger State.
Niger State.
Zamfara.
Those places has been overrun by insurgents. And if you check properly, you'll find out that most of those insurgents are not only Nigerians. They are mixed up with people from the sub-Saharan Africa, maybe from Chad, from Niger, from as far as Sudan, Somalia, and so on. And this ISWAP and so on and so forth. So it's something that the government needs to take very seriously. And how do we take it seriously? I am one of those who have always been advocating that we need to spend much more time, energy, and resources in cultivating intelligence. You don't take intelligence for granted.
Okay.
It's not only intelligence tied to the agencies, military or security agencies. We are talking also of the local intelligence, because those natives and communities are the ones that see movements of strange-looking fellows infiltrating the entire landscape. You don't need to keep quiet. You need to sensitize and educate the people that it is dangerous for you to see somebody that you don't even know where he or she is coming from.
Okay.
And carrying lethal weapon and crossing your terrain or your space. What do you have to do? Find a way of passing information. Sensitize and...
Who should sensitize and educate?
Well, that's what I mean. The government, of course.
The government sensitize and educate. These people don't even wait for sensitization and education.
No,
they
no,
plunder, they decimate.
No, what I'm saying, the people, the communities.
Okay.
So that when they see such things, they'll have appropriate channel.
Appropriate channel?
Of passing it to the concerned agencies.
Really?
To take necessary action.
CP, have you seen how these invaders, how they carry out their operations?
No, what I'm
that
saying,
by the time the channel, by the time the information is channeled to the appropriate authorities, persons would have died.
No, what I'm saying is that they don't just come and attack. It takes a while. Many of them don't go by road. They go by the forest, the valleys,
Yes,
and the hills.
yes.
So from that point, they are taking off. People need to know that that this is danger looming.
Okay.
If you pass information to the appropriate agencies, they can now use drone to track whatever movement these people are making. And if it is possible, you can start with using the air power, bring in the Air Force to locate them and degrade them totally. And once you degrade them, that's the end of the story. But if you keep quiet and allow them to keep moving and percolating at a particular place, they become formidable and more dangerous to what you have just expressed now. So we need to be very proactive, not to give space for them to get themselves in large number and go ahead and invade communities in such a way that they will come and wipe out the community and continue on their uninterrupted march to other areas. So the earlier we realize that and try as much as we can to nip this sinister in the bud, the better for all of us.
I want to ask a question.
Okay.
Or maybe a submission.
Yes.
This Nick Comsat,
All right.
we have launched 2 into
Yes.
the air. You see, America, all this develop, even India, they have their satellite monitor their land for them from space.
Yes.
It monitors. It can even see you from space. It can see you up, down from
Okay.
space.
Yeah, exactly.
Then what happened to our own satellite that will launch into space to monitor our area? Up to now, nobody is saying anything because this thing is a very, very powerful weapon. I mean, device when it comes to
Tracking.
yes, tracking, maintaining security of your area, your land, the country.
The question is, are they interested in that? Everybody is interested in his pocket, what he's going to make out of the National Assembly or in whatever position of authority that is holding politically. That's their interest. Nobody is concerned. Once he has soldiers or mopol around him, he feels he has arrived, that is enough for him. Maybe gets himself a bulletproof SUV. They are not interested in what happens in the countryside. And that is why things keep degenerating every other day. And furthermore, to the question we have put across, if we are lucky to identify a camp where they have settled, you don't wait for them to prepare to do their heinous activities. You need to carry the fight
To them.
So
Okay.
if you locate it and do proper coordination between the air and land, the Air Force will go there and clear off everything.
Okay, or do you think this is because the Nigerian Air Force actually launched an airstrike on the enclave in Borno State? They eliminated scores of the insurgents. They also destroyed 3 gun trucks. The operation was carried out under the air component of Operation Hadinkai, which targeted a hideout north of Chiralia in the notorious Timbuktu Triangle. Now, it wasn't long after this happened that, ISWAP and Boko Haram also went to their forward base. Military authorities say the precision strikes have significantly disrupted terrorist activities in the region, reinforcing the ongoing counterinsurgency efforts in the northeast. And according to a statement by Kabiru Ali, who is the Deputy Director of Public Relations and Information, the operation took place over the weekend and it was initiated after ground troops provided actionable intelligence on the movement of 3 terrorist gun trucks from Sabongari towards Chiralia. So do you think this is a counterattack from ISWAP where they killed 3 Nigerian soldiers, and after this Air Force were able to deploy fighter jets for an air interdiction mission?
I think so. I think along that line, it is a way to weaken whatever efforts the military authorities is putting in place to get them off the territory of Nigeria, because it is the responsibility of the military to ensure that we fight against external aggression and internal subversion. And that is what they are trying to live up to, And these activities of these insurgents is like a sabotage to whatever efforts the military is making to restore peace in those affected areas. And it shouldn't even dampen the morale or the spirit of the military or the federal government. At this point in time, I expect them to be consistent in degrading. Once they've finished doing, they should keep on looking for other areas and continue to intensify the attacks, especially from the air, because that's the language they understand. If you do by the ground troops using infantry, sometimes they are endangered because they're exposed to.
Thank you so much for watching the program. I appreciate you for your patience to watch from beginning to end. I hope you have learned a lot from this very program that I just played, this video. Please like and share the video. Share to all platforms. After sharing the video, now you can go to the comment section and put down your comments. Whatever suggestions, contributions you have to make, what do you think about the video I just played? Go to the comment section and put your comment. I will go to the comment section and I bet you I am learning a lot from there and you can equally learn from there. Let us share our experience on that comment section. Thank you so much and stay blessed. Don't forget to share and we continue to bless you as you share. Biafra government, peace, progress, unity and equity. We move. Airborne.